Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for Tuesday, May 31st. So what I want to do today is just compare the crypto market to the NASDAQ and maybe the S&P as well, and perhaps have a look at a couple of stocks as well. So, because I think it's a good idea just to kind of get an understanding of how markets are moving together. I could also probably bring in the US dollar as well, because that's topping and turning in line with all of this as well. But maybe we'll do that next time. But just to give you a bit of an idea, this is the crypto index here. Well, it's just an index of 10. Obviously, there's lots of other indexes as well, but just for the purpose of understanding the pattern here, is that we've always had wave 3 here with an A wave. We thought we were like getting a triangle pattern across here, but last few times we spoke, we started to look at a B wave down here and a C wave moving up here, or even a more complicated triangle. But it's much better suited, as you can see, as an A wave here, an A and a B, and then 1 and 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the third wave, fourth and a truncated fifth. Or anyway, you could do that whichever way you want. Doesn't really matter at that point. The point here is that we're looking at 5 waves moving up here. So you can see at 1 and 2 and 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, fourth and fifth. So we're coming into the top of the third, there'll be a fourth and a fifth, and that can be it at that point. We may need to take this on board here, this little move here, but I'll talk about that with Bitcoin, and that would just enlarge it back one more move here as well, and give us another wave to the upside here. But coming back up for this index, the previous high here, or the 10,000 would be it there. But so that's basically the pattern that we're looking at. Now, Bitcoin is much the same as this. Ethereum is weaker, and it's taken out this particular low here. And we can have a look at the Bitcoin ETH cross. So this is a daily chart. This is Bitcoin and ETH. So when you've got the BTC in the front, that's the dominating the primary count, so to speak. So we're seeing Bitcoin like push up against ETH. If we were looking the other way around and looking at ETH in front here, we can see that, well, you know, it's sort of under pressure here. You know, it was leading at some point, but that's changed, and so on. So with that in mind, we're looking at Ethereum that has actually pulled down here further, just tipped this low out here. So it could be possible to land Ethereum in as the low, but we'll look at that a little bit later. This is the basic count, but what I want to do here is that just compare them to the US market. So this move down here is the 12th or 13th of May, okay? And when we look at, let's just use the NASDAQ. So when we're looking at the NASDAQ at the same date here, the 12th or the 13th here, whichever way you want to look at that, then we've got that move up here. And if we were looking for, if we were comparing them, so to speak, we were looking at the NASDAQ and the S&P in two different ways. We're looking at them as a bullish move and also a corrective rally. So the corrective rally would be the A wave, the B wave here, and then all the way up for the C wave here. So 5 waves up into this move here. And yeah, so that would be it. So basically, when we think about it, you know, this low here compared to this low here, and this move up here to this move here, and so on, and you know, now this has landed and it's moving up here. This is landed and it's moving up here. So, you know, but you know that already, they're in sync. But the interesting thing, though, that I want to point out is that in this case, you know, coming back to the NASDAQ here, looking at this as an A wave and a B wave here, it kind of makes sense. And then we would have an A and a B and a C wave up here, and then we would come down with Bitcoin, you know. But when we look at some of the markets, if I looked at Amazon, for example, it's got the same sort of pattern here. Now I'll just look at a couple of big stocks. So we could look at this as the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave over here. That would be kind of the same, you know. And we've got that sort of, see that consolidation here? So that consolidation, is showing up on the NASDAQ in this space here, So that's kind of fitting. But what about when we get stocks like Tesla that's had a nice move down and has landed here? And in this case, we're getting, impulse waves to the upside. So in this case, it's hard to call this the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave to the upside. So this one here, we could just really label this one wave 1 here and coming back for wave 2. So this is my sort of problem at the moment. I'm seeing some stocks like this, and then I see some stocks like this that have created that weirdness, this bulge here in the in the NASDAQ here, looking at this as possibly being an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for the B wave here. So, but that's not the case in all markets. So it's kind of like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, really. So what I've been doing with the NASDAQ and the S&P and so on is that from this low here, we'll track 5 waves up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up to here, and then we'll just wait for an ABC pattern. In this case, it'll be all around the 13,000. But if that's, we either come straight down from here, but this second high here, or let's just say the top, if that top is breached, then we've got a bull market at that point. So what happens if we do get a bull market? What happens if Tesla here, for example, we get, I haven't updated this from what's the name, but it doesn't really matter. Let's just say we get 3, 4 here and then 5 up here, and then we get an ABC pattern here. Let's just say this comes in here. And then that pushes up there, and because we've got 5 here, it means we're going to get another 5 up there. So I know that we'll be long again at that point. We'll trade up to here, we'll get out, and we're going to wait for that ABC pattern, and then we go up from there. Now, if we remove all of this here, what happens if we take that same theory here and we look at the crypto market as coming up as 5 waves? But what about when let's just assume we've got it over here. Let's just say that we get up here somewhere, and then we have an ABC pattern here, and we all think that we're going down at that point. But what about if we don't go down? What about if we sort of head up at that point? We'll need to go long above that ABC pattern and be long at that point. So we know some things and we don't know other things. So we know that this 5-way structure up here, we've been looking at that, with the assets and so on. And yeah, so we could get 5 waves up here and then have a correction and then go up again. And then we'd have to look at this and go, well, shit, what the fuck happened here, So, do we need to look at this as wave 1 here and wave 2 over here, and then looking at this as 1 and 2 and then keep continuing to build over here? Is that what's going to happen? I don't know, but we need to understand this junction over here at least, even though we don't know what's going on. Understanding that when this 5 waves finishes here, then we'll need to move, we'll need to look at being long at that point. Because I also know too that if we can find the Bitcoin chart for a moment, the same here as well, the A wave, the B wave. The B wave could also be here as well. We can look at, we'll just count this while we're here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, and 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd, 4th, 5th. We may need to take on this wave 1 here, so there may be another, we won't turn bullish too quick because there may be another little move over here to rectify that situation. So because that does count as 5 waves there, and then we can count that as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. So, and it is the low there, so that's all doable from there. So that B wave could go over here, and we'll just need to look at this a little bit differently over here. But anyway, I'll just put that B wave into place. What I wanted to talk about was that, well, what happens if we need to look at this as wave 1 over here? How do we count that? How do we count that down? Because let me just sort of think about this for a moment. So this move that I haven't put a lot of work into this, and it's just a bit of a rough shot here. What happens? What about, you know, because we've been looking, you know, either from this high or this high, we've been looking for a 38.2% retracement level. So I take that down to here, and I can see that we've gone above the 38.2. Now I could bring this further up onto this point here, and we're at the 38.2, but we're still going to go higher already, aren't we? We're still going to go past that. That's what, so I don't know if this is a possible, I mean, this is a bloody mess in here, really. You know, I've you know, appreciate all the counts that be sent over all the time, and it gives me ideas and stuff, but it's very tricky to count some of this little moves in here for that. But also what I wanted to talk about is just bring back our memory from the past. And what I mean by that is, I don't know if you remember, but if you remember this whole situation on this low down here, I have to say that was a little bit of a nightmare, really. It just didn't finish off the way that I thought it would finish off, you know. So I'm wondering, with this situation here, are we going to, you know, are we in for something really messy like this here, or are we going to get caught off guard and we need to look at all of this as 5 waves down here completed down here? Probably not the case, but I think it's worth even just mentioning, and that way we know how to handle it, you know, because when we looked at the Tesla move up, you know, that was, where is Tesla here? I mean, that, and like many stocks have, they've had a nice perfect low here, and they're just building an impulse wave up there. So you kind of got to think, well, shit, we have to respect this too, you know, we have to bring that into the fold. So anyway, yeah, we know the Wall Street guys are treating Bitcoin like a like another tech stock, you know. We can see that. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out today anyway, that a couple of things. We never got this right. We never got it, I mean, let's just say that it got messy, and we did a few things right and a few things wrong, but it was very complicated for everybody, this low here. So are we going to get another situation like that? You know, this, as I've always said, this wave 2 here could be here or it can be here, but even so, wherever you put it, it's starting to really test that 38.2%. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's 40% really. I mean, you know, it can come back to 50%, but that's okay. But, you know, the boxes that you normally tick to, you know, gather evidence, you're kind of like a bit reluctant to put a tick in that box, you know what I mean? So we need to be careful, need to be a little bit careful. So all I can see at the end of the day is, with these cryptos here, is we will track the 5 waves up here, and then we're expecting it to come down, but if it doesn't come down, then we'll need to be long above the tops here. It's pretty much that, sort of boiling it down to being that simple. Okay. And then we'll have to call a low in at this point for it, but we're not there yet. But, you know, I think it's important that we talk about it. I don't have all the answers, you know. I can count waves, but sometimes they just get a bit messy. And then, I mean, looking at all of this here, I mean, that move up here, that move from the low here up here, that is corrective, you know. That's a good corrective pattern. It's not an impulse wave, so we should have an A and a B and a C wave up here, even though it'll go a little bit higher and it'll be, you know, pulled with the tech stocks. Then we should have another move down. So if we're going to have a move down with the tech stocks, then it gets a little bit sort of hairy as well, actually. So what I mean by that is, let's just have a look at the S&P, because I've got the bigger bearish count on that picture there. So 10k there. Actually, what I'll do is we'll just look at this. We'll just look at this, and on the daily chart first, just so you know where we're sort of we're up against here. So I'm on the EU market here. That's not the one I want. Where's the it's the same pattern. This is the upside anyway, but let me just bring up the S&P here, because I've got the bigger bearish count on here, and you know, we need to be mindful of that. That could bring in so okay, this is the S&P here, so it's got the same moves up here, you know, all the same sort of thing. So, you know, I mean, this count's pretty straightforward at this point here. We can just look at this here as the A wave, the B wave, and then 5 waves up for the C wave here. Or from the low here, we can just look at it as an impulse wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we have an ABC, well, then we'll go long again. Otherwise, we're just going to keep working lower here. But what I wanted to have a look at here was 2 things. Just look at the daily chart just for one moment, just so you've got an idea of where we are at the moment with this. So as it stands at the moment, this is the top. We're looking at, I'll just keep it simple, it's an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here. And in that space, we're looking for 5 waves up here, and then 3 waves back for wave 2, and then pushing up. Now the other count here, as I just mentioned, would see this low here as a low, and then look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. So if we have a look at that on this chart, this 10K tick chart, will give you an idea of the bearish market that we're in. So I'll need to bring in some more data here. So from the top here, we could look at this as wave 1 and 2, and then down here we can look at it as wave 1 with an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here for wave 2, and then come down at that point because it's coming up into the 50-60% area up here, you know. That's where it will finish up in that box there, these 5 waves up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So in this case here, this is a little bit sort of frightening really, because in this bearish case here, we could look at it as all of this down here is an A wave here, and then a B wave here as well, and then come down for a C wave here and be finished with it. So I'll just get rid of that and put this over here as a C wave and have that one leg down here, which is all doable. So we could have, you know, all of this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here. That would be fine, you know. It also could be the 1, the 2, the 1, and the 2 here. I'm not thinking that's the case, but this move down here would be in line with Bitcoin then, wouldn't it? Because Bitcoin needs to make that extra low down there at that point. But also too, we can't rule out this 1, 2, 1, 2 here. I don't think it's the case, but if that was the case, then this would just be the 3rd wave here, then the 4th and the 5th, and take us down a long way at that point. You know, that would put Bitcoin in a much more bearish picture, wouldn't it? If we looked at this here, just as an example, if we looked at this here as wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then looked at all of this down here, somehow get 5 waves out of this as wave 1 here, and coming back for wave 2 a little bit higher up here, because the S&P and the NASDAQ have still got a fair way to go, then that puts this into a much bigger bearish picture, doesn't it? We don't like to think about that, but as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and it's a possible count. I don't think it's the case, but I like to put all the counts on the table, and then you can start throwing stuff at me, you know. But it's just all more. The more ideas we have, the better off we are with all of this. That's the thing, because we can prepare for them, you know. But as far as the crow flies, I think we've got wave 3 and 4 here and going down for wave 5. But we've got to pull it all into line with the tech stocks, because the tech stocks are doing the same thing. So just coming back a little way, when the crypto tops, and there's Tesla here, when this tops for Tesla here, we'll have a blind spot. We need to wait for this to unfold here, and then we can either be we'll have be an ABC pattern here, or be down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, and then down again at that point. So we'll be able to work it out, but it'll just be a blind spot in here in the timing of it. So today's video was really about you understanding and lining the things up with the tech stocks, and the 2 counts we have with the tech stocks, and the US indices and the Bitcoins all in that fold as well. So yeah, let's see how the cookie crumbles. Yeah, that's it. I don't think I need to add anything more to any of this really. This little 5-wave structure up here is going to finish, you know, in line with Bitcoin and so on. They're all being pretty much on the same day. So even when they do top, we just have to wait for them to roll over so we can pick up the thread. Alrighty, I think that's all I really needed to say at this point. So it's just really a wait and see how it goes. But the bias is wave 3 here with wave 4 and then down for wave 5 here. But this wave 5 could have a bit more length in it than you think it will do, because it will be in line with tech stocks. And if tech stocks, even in the worst situation, even if the S&P here, this is the A wave here, and ABC for the B wave up here, and this to come down here, well, you know, it's going to be at least this, in terms of timing, it's at least going to be this one here. I mean, in reality, it should be sort of most of this, but and this could be down in 3 waves as well here. But even so, this here was from, you know, the end of March to May. So March, April, May. So 2 months of that. So if that's going to come down for 2 months, then that Bitcoin move will be coming down. This here will be 2 months as well. I'm just saying, you know, just tuning things into each other. So just to recap with Bitcoin here is that I've taken wave B to here, and we're looking for 5 waves up here. We need to bring that in line with the SP 500 and the NASDAQ and those tech stocks. So we may need to use this wave 1 here, but on Ethereum and the crypto index, it's this low, but we may need to use this low to get the timing of the top here right. So when those tech stocks top out, well, then that will top out and we can take it from that point. When this moves down, when it starts to move down, then we'll know that if we've got a bull market, we'll just be going long above the high or the second high. Otherwise, it will just end up continuing to the downside at that point. That's about as simple as it gets, and as complicated as I explained it all. Okay, alrighty, cheers. I forgot to mention Ethereum here as well, and I thought I should just add this to the video. So in this instance here, from wave 3 here, we've got a WXY here for wave 4, and then 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for wave 3, 4 and 5 finishing here. And that, I mean, that can be the low. We've either got to consider this the low, or we've got to consider you know, this, the A wave up here, the B wave here, and the C wave up here. So I've got this as a bullish count here. Not to say that it's going to be bullish, but I mean, it certainly can be, but at the same time, it will give us a bit of an idea of what we're looking at. We've got here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll need this third wave into play. We'll get some sort of ABC pattern across here that's going to be here for a while, and then wave 5 to the upside. And we still need to wait over this side over here to see if we get an ABC pattern at this point and move up from that point, or we end up just moving down from that point. But we'll need 3 waves here at least. We need to move below 3 waves to call it in a bear market at that point. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just interesting to have a look at Ethereum here. Not that the other markets are there, but it has pulled down and sort of testing this previous low down here by a little bit. In a lot of time with Elliott, it doesn't, I didn't quite get there, did it? But it doesn't really have to take out the low here. All it needs to do is produce 5 waves. But at the end of the day, this would be the A wave up here, and this would be the B wave here for this, and then the C wave up here for this to make that wave 4 here. I'll just copy that over here. And then in between A and B here, it would just be the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave down here for the B wave. So that's all sort of doable. You know, I just thought I'd show that because it's dropped a little bit lower. Alrighty, cheers.